Your opening contest is scheduled for one fall.
Welcome, everybody. This is Premier Championship Wrestling. My name is Joe Dombrowski. I'm joined by Benjamin C. Steele. This is PCW Holiday Havoc. And kicking things off with a rough and tumble veteran in a bad mood. Well, Nate Mattson has issues with Cleveland. He's got issues with Turner's Hall. He's got issues with most of his opponents, the young generation of professional wrestling. He doesn't like any of these people, and he is not shy to express that each and every time we see him in a PCW ring.
You know, if I say something, I mean it. These things happen. Yeah.
From Indianapolis, Indiana, weighing in at 175 pounds, Diamond Cut Ace Perry.
Diamond Cut Ace Perry. I'll tell you what, there's been a lot of eyes on Ace Perry as of late. A little bit of a new look for him as well. What do you think of that blonde hairdo?
Looks like a hippie to me. He's going to get the blonde hair beat right off of him by Nate Mattson. He did leave out one important fact about Nate Mattson.
What is that?
That he dislikes one Joe Dombrowski, which is actually one of my favorite things about him.
Does not surprise me in the least. But Ace Perry is somebody that I'm a fan of. Made his PCW debut a couple of months ago. Successful showing against one of your buddies, Jack Pollock. And Ace Perry back again for another go-round. A great natural athlete, somebody who still in his very early 20s. His best years are far ahead of him, but he's already traveled the country from his home in Indianapolis down to the Carolinas to Georgia to certainly here in Cleveland. And all points in between. Ace Perry's logging a lot of miles, he's got a lot of passion, and he's looking to make his mark in professional wrestling.
Well, the Ace Perry mobile certainly has a lot of miles on it. I think, though, if you're going to be in there with Nate Mattson, you're going to be in tip-top shape. He just threw it at Nick.
Nick Lendl, our ring announcer, getting abused. He's not even from Cleveland. Nate Mattson, not even like him.
Well, if you ever met him, you wouldn't like him either.
I see. See Nate Mattson get in the face of the likes of Sonny Vice and Nate Wings. Feels that the young kids are entitled these days and feels like they're not working hard to earn their opportunities. I would disagree with that. I think Sonny Vice and Nate Wings have had to work extra hard to earn respect in PCW these past couple of months. And in my opinion, they've proven themselves. And I think Ace Perry's in the process of improving himself. I don't think he's at the point yet that Sonny Vice and Nate Wings are, but I think he's well on his way.
Well, he may be well on his way, but he's not near the level of Nate Mattson. Nate Mattson, a veteran of the professional wrestling world, much like myself, understanding the problem with kids. Smart veteran move right there, going to the ropes. Understanding the problem with kids nowadays is as the cockiness of one Ace Perry takes the bow there. These kids, they come out of wrestling school, they create a Facebook page, they get some fancy tights, a suitcase with wheels, a spray bottle with water in it, and they think they're ready to go. And they go in there with a guy like Nate Mattson, and he just shows them a lesson, he beats him down, and I'd like to point out again, he doesn't like you.
Mattson, a 20-year veteran. Bet you can't guess where he's from. Ace Perry, very serious look on his face. Ace Perry likes to have fun as well, and he's going to attempt to, as he has before here in PCW, wrestle this whole match with headband in place.
Well, is he wearing the headband? Is that a wig, or is that his actual hair?
I believe that's his actual hair. A bit of an experiment for Ace Perry. We'll see if that will help his confidence or maybe be a distraction.
Well, I know young kids experiment a lot with various things, but that hair is not a good one. I think it's a wig. Seriously, I think Nate Mattson should not only rip that bandana off, he should also rip the hair out as well. I think he's bald.
Nate is grounding Ace Perry at this point in time. Pace quickens. And Perry with a drop kick, nicely done. Perry very athletic and very adept at quickening the pace. there is so much that Ace can do when he's in his element, but Mattson has done a great job of grounding him in the early going. Perry loves to push himself to an athletic limit. He loves to test his boundaries. He loves to go out there and leave it all in the ring and have a style that very much throws caution to the wind. And Nate Mattson wants to shut all that down and certainly wrestle a smart veteran Detroit style, if you will. But Ace Perry, great guy outside the ring. We've documented it before here on PCW programming. Made a young fan's dream come true. His number one fan happened to be autistic, and Ace Perry asked her to her prom. And that was a great feel-good moment. Got some great national attention online, went viral for a little bit, but you know what? The name Ace Perry really didn't travel far with it because Ace didn't do it for publicity. Ace refused to get any type of cheap publicity off of it. That's not why he did it. But, it's important to recognize the heart of this kid and the fact that he is using his professional wrestling status for good and to help and influence others.
Well, you know what? Maybe you're turning me around on Ace Perry. If you've got a good marketing guy, he can take publicity like that, get him in the Wrestler, get him on the front page of Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Wrestling Magazine, Wrestling Monthly, Wrestling Quarterly, and really make a heck of a lot of money off of it.
It's not about publicity, and as you see Ace Perry, the series of arm drags, every magazine you just named except for one does not exist anymore.
It wouldn't be the reason that my subscription hasn't arrived in quite a while, but be that as it may, see, that's another thing the kids don't understand about wrestling. It is the wrestling business, and wins and losses are paramount, but you can capitalize on that. That's something that Nate Mattson understands, and that could be a lesson that he could teach H. Perry. Well, you know what? He doesn't get any other letters. He's now H. Perry. Ace Perry, excuse me. I'd be happy to teach Ace Perry. I've got some investments that he could get into. And so, can I go talk to Ace Perry?
No, you're not going to corrupt another young athlete like you have so many times in your career. Ace Perry is showing Nate Mattson a thing or two right now. And Nate, man, see the torque he got on that swinging neck breaker.
You got to be prepared when you duck that head. You could catch a boot. You could catch a neck breaker. And when you're a veteran like Nate Mattson, you've seen a thing or two.
Again, Ace Perry is grounded. He's in pain. Ace is one of the nicest human beings I've ever met in this industry. He's very humble. He's very personable. He's very appreciative of every opportunity he gets, and he's very appreciative of these fans as well. But it's not about fun. It's not about having a good time. It's not about graciousness at this point. It is about surviving a rough beating at the hands of Nate Mattson, who's signaling for a pile driver. Oh, scissors stomp. Not much better.
Well, that'll certainly jar that neck and create some cobwebs there in the brain of Ace Perry. And how much, speaking of Ace Perry, how much did he pay you to say all that? You yell at me for taking payoff to say a nice thing or two, donating to the charity of BC Steel, and you're out here singing. That's a charity. Are you interested in donating?
We'll speak later.
But you're saying all these wonderful things, and I couldn't get a word out of Ace Perry when I tried to talk to him earlier. He just walked right past me. Must have been something you said.
Someone's warned him about you. Maybe not me. Mattson mocking Ace, mocking these fans as well. Why would Ace Perry listen to you with all the unkind things you've said about him so far in this match? About his hair, about his attitude, about how he doesn't deserve to be here?
Well, I'm just saying he could capitalize on opportunities, and he needs somebody to teach him that
way.
What?
Capitalize on a sunset flip, shoulders down for two.
Well, there we go again with a roll-up.
It's like Cradle could have him this time. Ace Perry trying to catch Mattson off guard, off his game, and Perry driving down, pushing up with the legs, and Mattson able to get out of dodge there and come back with the clothesline.
And Ace Perry did have the upper hand for a while. Had Nate Mattson rocking and rolling, but Nate Mattson got back on track. Sometimes the car shakes a little bit, but it always goes back onto the road and gets to where it needs to be. And that's what Nate Mattson is. He's like a good car. It's trustworthy, it's dependable, it's loyal, it'll never let you down. Ace Perry's a motorcycle that can fly off the tracks and crash into the woods at any time.
Is it a car pun because he's from Detroit?
Well, see, I was going to go there. I didn't really have any Ford references that I could make.
That's a Ford Tough uppercut by Nate Mattson.
Well, he's like a lion out there. That's another Detroit piece, the football team. Well,
I see. Athletic sports games. You're all about that. You probably lost a lot of money betting on the Lions, too, haven't you?
well,
Watch his knee! God!
well, I could have bet that Ace Perry has about 2 less teeth that may have landed at the back of Turner's Hall.
Hook of the leg? No.
And by the way, I did letter in bowling, mind you. Thank you very much. Another multi-sport athlete is actually Nate Mattson. He's lettered in many, many sports and has a PhD in the world of professional wrestling as he is attempting to teach a lesson and speak gospel to the freshman, if you will, of Ace Perry.
Ace Perry's digging down deep, trying to find it. He's got the guts, he's got the gumption, he's got the tenacity to fight on. Ace Perry is in agony. He's been stretched, he's been punished, he's been tortured. But now Mattson back with a knee, and Ace Perry down again. And Ace has been, in some cases here, just, absolutely abused by Mattson, who is now going to the second turnbuckle on the inside. Down with a guillotine leg drop. And as much as Nate Mattson and I don't see eye to eye on all things, you got to give credit, that leg drop was picture perfect, and that could do it now.
Don't see eye to eye, really. That's an understatement. But it does sound good to hear you speak the praises of Nate Mattson. It feels good, doesn't it? Do it again.
Hey, Nate Mattson wouldn't be here if he wasn't one of the absolute best athletes in this part of the country. He's most decorated competitor in the history of Prime Wrestling. Only man to hold the TV title, the tag team titles, and the Wrestle-Rama trophy during the 6-year run of that organization. Mattson, it's cliche, but he gets better with age. He's smarter and better and more resourceful and leaner now than maybe ever. But look at Ace Perry. Flailing away with a rapid-fire forearms drop kick at X. Ace Perry could have a chance here. Into the cover, no.
You know, I got to give the kid credit. He went right for the pin.
Oof.
But he didn't stay on him, and that's what happens.
Nate with maybe a desperation jawbreaker, and you can see Ace Perry, to your point, checking his teeth.
Well, he's got, what do kids have nowadays? Like 34, 42?
Nowadays, we hadn't changed. Nate Mattson. Ace Perry with those boy band-esque looks that Mattson's been mocking this entire match as well. I don't think Ace Perry will look good for his next photo shoot if Mattson has anything to say about it. I notice Ace Perry trying to match Mattson strike for strike. Mattson was waiting. Ace Perry had no idea, turned right into it, and there's some of that veteran instinct, didn't it?
Well, that's actually amateur optometry by one Nate Mattson. He was pointing and says, "These are where the eyes are." Boom. So in case there was any confusion.
I see.
It's actually a help. You know, that hair gets in your ears. He was just brushing it out of the way. Weird hippie haircut.
I'm not sure that's how hippies looked, but here comes Mattson. As Ace Perry, who looks a little bit like the good boy gone bad, will help out against one of the most notorious villains in the history of Cleveland wrestling, Nate Mattson. O'Connor roll, Ace hangs on. Stays a step ahead of Mattson, tries to nip up into that diamond cutter variation from diamond cut, but into the M80 neck bomb. Easy for me to say. Not easy for Mattson to execute. A hard-earned victory for Nate Mattson on Ace Perry.
And Joe, just like I said earlier, dependable, reliable, loyal, all those things. And right now what you can call him against Ace Perry is winner.
But let's give credit to Ace Perry, who came in, let's be honest, outmatched in a major way experience-wise. But much like Sonny Vice, much like Nate Wings before him, Mattson with another notch on his belt as far as what he would consider to be the young kids who maybe aren't so deserving of an opportunity. I think Ace Perry's earned everybody's respect. I think he's earned the right to be here. And if you ask me, this is definitely not the last we see of Ace Perry here at Turner's Hall in Cleveland. I think he'll have an opportunity to silence some critics such as yourself, some skeptics such as yourself, hopefully even have a chance to prove Nate Mattson wrong as well. But good showing for Ace Perry in the opening contest as we're getting set to go back to the ring, Mr. Steele.